Hey everybody, Todd Gatewood here. I'm in the valley of the dogwoods. It's actually my son's valley, and I try to photograph it every year, but it just doesn't translate. So I thought, well, what the heck, we'll try a video. And I won't know till I go back and look at it how it really went. I want to talk to you guys about what's been going on in the Bigfoot world this week. There's been some new interviews, banter, these sort of things. I want to say this: the gentleman that broke this review of the new documentary to the Bigfoot world saw a disturbing thumbnail of his that he's been threatened to be doxxed. You know, I've talked about that before because that happened to me too. And I want to say this is an incredibly toxic thing about this community. You have no business doxing anyone. Doesn't matter if they disagree with you or what they've said. You just don't have a right. It's not up for you. The community doesn't need that on any side. So it's just stupidity. And it's a very toxic community. The new documentary is going to be niche oriented. It will... It doesn't have a built-in market. It's a skeptical thing, and it will attract skeptics because it's a negative topic. I've seen some interviews from the producer and director, and I read those. I like to watch and then read one. And it's some very interesting things. I'm going to say a positive thing about it is I think we're going to get to learn, based on what he said, that Clint and his mother have made up and they're not estranged. And anytime there's a personal success story for a family like that, I think we should all rejoice. And on that note, I think we should all go see that documentary. People are saying, I'm not going to see, it's not worth my time, I don't need to. Well, okay, but if you're going to research, you need to be open-minded and go see that. Maybe more than once or whatever however you do it. It's just paying for your education. And that's quite all right. We all have to do that. So, a couple of thoughts there on that. One of the things that I found interesting is the producer of the new documentary's father worked for Al Diatley. And he had heard bad things about Al Diatley growing up and that the film was a fake. Keeping that in mind, it was said at the beginning of that podcast that it's in his, I don't know if it's interview or notes somewhere, that he said he felt like making this film was somehow in his DNA. Well, I think that just says he's been predisposed his entire life to have one opinion. That's not research. That's just bringing your opinion to fruition. And I'm glad he did, because I'm glad everyone can see what he's going to show. I don't know, I didn't get out of his interview how he verified that it was shot when he says it was shot. So one of the things is, I don't know how he is convinced of when it was shot. He mentions experts, but I don't hear any of those details, and maybe I missed it. That's why I'm going to watch the documentary. We all know this, that you can buy film made in any year still practically and shoot it, so it's nothing to think that the film wasn't shot afterwards. Another thing, this is a paraphrase, but he said he had it developed and then it came back scanned 4K beautiful. So I know on commercial scanning, when they do it 4K, they're going to adjust it some. I'm not sure if he felt like the quality was so good it had to have been shot in '66. That's not scientific. But these are some things to consider. That's all. These are just things to consider. I don't think the guy that broke it to the Bigfoot world is a bad guy. I think he just came back and said what he thought. I don't know his depth of study into the topic, but I don't know your depth of study either. I get asked the same questions all the time. And I wonder, wow, you know, people ask me about the portrait. I've explained it. It's out there. I'll probably explain it a couple more times. Or how I do film frames. Well, let's talk about that for a second. When you do something like, when I did something like the frame of Patty's portrait. That was, I used upscale interpolation. That is the same technology that CD-ROMs for music use to fill in a hole when there's a physical hole in a CD-ROM. And I had the best picture of the master copy taken with the 4x5 negative. If Roger had printed his film to 35mm, none of this would be going on. None of these discussions would be happening, restorations, stabilizations, still frames with the moving thing across the picture. None of this would go on. So this is a result of 16mm, a lot of it. So I had the best possible, highest data rate, huge for its day, file size on computer of that frame that I got from a Texas university, regardless of whoever says they gave it to me. They may have gave me one, but not till after they saw what I have done. Anyway, on what you call frame 352, that's 6 to 8 different photos of the same thing stacked in different levels. And then I used a thing called matte blur technique to sharpen it. And there's miles of video on that out there. I'm saying all this because restoring film, the Patterson Gimlin film like I have, is not the same. It is a frame by frame method of going through and taking the scratches, the dust, the stains, the warpage, the shrinkage, any flakes in the emulsion, all that out, taking it all out to show you. It's not adding things in, it's not stacking images. There are no matte backgrounds to help sharpen. It's archival film footage that you're going to get to see. The fact that it stabilized the sprockets, because a lot of those optical prints of it weren't, it added jump around. So when you stabilize it on the 4 sprockets, that's alone changes, because if this is jumping around here and then this centerpiece is jumping around, you've got 2 different things going on. It's a brain messer upper, all right? So just locking it in, stabbing it to the corners, amazing difference. As a matter of fact, that method alone played at half speed's all I need. I'm going to do when I'm finished with the color grading, we're going to do a zoom in on Patty and a machine stabilization. Some hand, some machine. I'm not sure yet. I'll tell you when it's done. So that's going to happen. But this restoration of the film will do one thing for sure. All you people that love the film are going to just be fortified and know what you're seeing is real. It just shows you that much better. There's nothing added. There's nothing taken away. It's not an enhancement. It's not a correction. It's a cleaning. When I went to archive the film frame by frame, I spent months and months going back and forth with the Kodak labs and different people about how to clean it. And I'd come down to the conclusion with Kodak, ISO, man, 99.9, isopropyl alcohol. And I used that a lot on my test runs to clean film. And man, the before and after is amazing. Even if you do like what's called a wet bath when you scan it, as you run it through a little bath, it's amazing. But I didn't do either one of those things for this reason. ISO 99.9, if there's a weld in the film or a break in the film, it's going to pretty much take that apart. And I wasn't sure of the quality of the physical film that I was going to handle. It was a garbage basket case as far as that goes. And I knew anything on it didn't need rubbing alcohol or ISO. It just needed the darkroom. So I did not attempt to clean it beforehand. It's broken in 3 different places and full of just problems. Anyway, I'll get to that. You'll get to see that. So what's next? Well, color grading is a much more rapid process. It's not shouldn't take us that long in the scheme of things. And then it has to be wrapped up and brought to you guys. When? Hey, October 20th, wouldn't that be a great date? I love that. Would it be a great date to make it coincide with the other documentary? That's a concept. Let me know what you think. Here rapidly, I won't be on my two-man team. I'm going to be back to just myself. So then I'm going to wrap this in some sort of package so you guys can stream it. I want to say this. One thing the skeptics throw out is they're going to have to find a new way to make money. It's ridiculous. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. The skeptics don't make money, and neither do the Bigfooters. Maybe a few people have made some money off books on a little spiky run of something here and there, but there's no money in it. And I don't even know how to calculate my own time. People say, get a job. Why would I get a job? I've had a career. I'm retired. I do whatever I want. I don't ever stop working. I live on a farm. Are you crazy? So I can pursue anything I want. And it's not to make money. It's for my mother. I think of it that way. I started free email for my mother and had 1 million users before I wound up. Why did you start an email for your mother? Because I didn't want my mom getting those naughty emails from people. I'm going to save her holy eyes from that stuff. So that's just what I did. I've heard Bill Munns does a great interview. Go find it. I had it up on my page, and the guy that let me do that got upset because I got more views, so he wanted me to take it down. So he really doesn't care about what Bill Munn said. He's just trying to get his viewership up from 30 people a video to where he can get monetized and all that. A real crybaby, but you live and learn. And there's others. It's not worth it. You just figure it out. They're not interested in Sasquatch or Bigfoot or true knowledge. They're not seekers like you are. Let me get this point across. You guys are here because you're seekers. You want to know the truth. You want to find out information. Skeptics don't care about what the information is. They just want to tear it down. The greatest thing you can do, and I've made it a lot easier, and let me tell you, there's only about 40 of them out there that make this big noise. But block them. Don't follow them. I've discovered that some of the podcasters out there that really will run to Bob Gimlin to get a picture with him and put it out there, but won't stand with him at this time. And they will have Bill Munns on their show, and Bill Munns will explain perfectly what's wrong with the current documentary, and he'll explain what we're looking at, and then they'll come out with thumbnails that say it's a hoax and have other people's like, all they want it to be is a hoax. And look, that's fine. They're negative, and don't watch it. Don't block them. I want to give you some advice on how to deal with the toxicity in this community. Get out to somewhere like where I'm at. First, get off. Block everybody you can that deserves it. Don't follow any of the negativity, and get out and do some personal research. Now, let me tell you about something that happened to me here. I was out here a few weeks ago, and I had quite an unusual experience. I was sitting here just enjoying the beautiful world that I live in, and a tree fell. It fell right in front of me. There was no wind pushing it. There was no Sasquatch pushing it. It just fell. So it answered a couple things. I was in the woods and I heard it fall, and not all falling trees when you're out in the woods happen by Sasquatch. So I kind of had a good chuckle over that. So now that the film is done, it's about to full completion, I have to wrap it in a package and put it out there. There's a lot of paperwork that goes with that, and there's finding a film distributor. This is exactly what they're doing with that documentary. If they haven't done it by today, they're still working on it. Placing a film is not the same as selling a film. When people place a film, it puts it on streaming platforms. Selling it, think of it as an advertising type agency where they build the hoopla around you and get people to go see your film. So that's what they're doing. You know, I'm going to have to follow the same path regardless of which decisions I take for this. So, but I would like to know what you think. Should I try to release it on October 20th? Should I try to pair it up with when they release theirs? I don't know. I don't know. I know this. You're going to want to tell the people that have shoved this down your throat that this is a hoax, what to watch and to go see it. And they will. And I appreciate you. I'm doing it for you guys and my mom. If she was here, she would love to know. I sat back and I watched that film without the color grading, just as is, and I'm just blown away. I think personally, viewing it at half speed, you get the full effect. Viewing it with proper contrast and where the corners are staked down, you see a whole lot more than you've ever seen. That alone, and the fact that it's clean. You're not going to see anything that you haven't seen other than what you haven't seen you're going to get to see, if that makes sense. There's no new revelations, there's no babies, no pits of anything, none of that nonsense. But you're going to get to see it not all contrasted out where it looks like she's walking on a white sheet. You're going to get to see all that, the gravel, the background. And when you do that, your brain puts it together a lot differently. And that's really all we need. There's nothing else. I don't really need to stabilize it, but this is the way it is. I'm going to. Might as well, right? I hope you've enjoyed this visit. I've enjoyed talking to you. I want everyone to take a breath and be cool with each other. Understand who the skeptics are. There's a few things about the skeptics I didn't learn, and you know, I make posts and they want to put out snarky comments, or they're famous people, or they're somewhat level of famous, or they're using someone for their popularity. And I realize, wow, that's who you guys are. I'm not really a part of that phony baloney. I expect the best out of people. I try to give people my best. So I project it that way, but I get how they project it because they put it off, who they are. I don't know if I've got much more to say here. Let me think. Well, I hope the dogwoods in the background are pleasing. Hey, Mr. Deer. And I hope you guys have a great and beautiful day. I'll bring you another update real soon. Take a breath. Take a breath. It's all good. It's all good, folks. And it's going to get better. Thank you.